Welcome to lesson 47. So today we're going to look at conditional sentences with if. So we've seen these already. We looked at this option, the possible, when we were studying subjunctives. So I think that this lesson is easy because we've already seen it. We're just looking, previously we were looking at subjunctives. Now we're looking at if sentences. So we're going to see three levels of the if sentence. And so I think this is going to be a fairly simple lesson. Okay, so there are 3 degrees of possibility with if sentences. The order is reversible. So the first possibility is, the first degree is definite. The second degree is probable. And the third degree is possible. And so possible is what we saw when we were looking at subjunctives. We'll look at it again. First of all, let's look at definite. When the condition is met, the result invariably is the same. So here's the formula. You'll see that everything's indicative. You either use the present tense or the future tense, for right here on this option number 2 of formula 101. So number 1, if you drive drunk, you crash or get arrested. So you can see that's in the present tense. Okay. Number 2, if you drive drunk, you will crash or get arrested, or you will get arrested. You could repeat it. It's not necessary. The will applies to the second verb also. So basically there's no difference between these sentences. They're expressing the same idea and nothing different is suggested in the mind. So you have either option. You hear either one, they're like equal. Okay, let's look at 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 is the same sentence. One is in the present tense and the other is in the future tense. So same thing here. If you mix an acid and a base, you get a salt. If you mix an acid and a base, you will get a salt. So the word then is most often admitted, as you can see. I think the same thing happens in Spanish, so it shouldn't be difficult. Okay, let's look at our next degree of possibility, and that's probable. If the condition is met, the result could be expected. So the formula is with if, and then you're going to use either will, may, or can. Okay, so will is exactly the same as what we've seen up here. So there's a little bit of overlap on the systems, but we're describing probable situations. Of course, will is more of a sure thing than may or can. May or can is possible. Okay, so I have reversed this sentence so you can see the if clause is in the middle of the sentence. That makes no difference to its meaning. Let's just read it. Number 5, you will have great blessing if you decide to serve Jesus. Okay, so for me, this is extremely highly possible. I'm a Christian, so I put it into the future tense. Now, this one is less possible. It's probable, but it's not quite as strong. So 6, if we meet tonight, we can reach a solution. Okay, and then the least probable of the 3 is may. So let's look at this. Number 7, if he visits the U.S., he may get ideas for business. So it's probable, but not as much of a sure thing as will, not even as much as can. So may is, we would translate, like number 6, we could translate, si nos reunimos hoy en la noche, podemos alcanzar una solución. So lo traduciríamos podemos. Y aquí, si él visita los Estados Unidos, podría conseguir ideas para negocio. So de eso se va a traducir podemos y eso se va a traducir podría para reflejar el grado de probabilidad menor. Alright, let's look at the possible. So these are the ones we looked at when we were studying the subjunctives. So strong doubt, subjunctives expressed about the condition being met. So we're going to use the subjunctive here, were, and we're going to use the subjunctive would. So remember, were and would are words that can be used to indicate a subjunctive. So these are like almost impossible situations. Okay, so number 8, if they were to get together, they would have a disaster. If they were to get together, they would have a disaster. So the translation is going to be si se reunieron, tendrían un desastre. Okay, number 9, if I were a Martian, I would fly around in space. Si fuera marciano, volaría alrededor en el espacio. If I were a Martian, I would fly around in space. So the rule of capitalization is that gentilicios get capitalized. So this is a gentilicio, even if it's an imaginary, but it is. Okay, vocabulary 47. 22 words and phrases. Total to date 830. Acid. Acid. So it's ácido but not sour. Sour is the flavor of ácido, and acid is the chemical composition. Base and based. Blessing. Blessing. Decide. Decided. Definite. Definite. Disaster. Disaster. Expect. Expect. Expected. Expected. Future. Future. So remember that the U, when it's pronounced U, almost always has a Y sound in front of it. So the T and the Y together actually make a ch sound. Future. Future. Okay, get together. Get together. Great. Great. Ignition. Ignition. Well, in Guatemala they call it the starter. I don't know what in el starter. I don't know what in other nations they call it. Martian. Martian. Meet. Past tense, met, and the participle is also met. So it's a vowel change. So you would expect a participle with en, but it doesn't have that. So that's why it's irregular. Okay, this is a homonym with meet. Mix. Mix. Mixed. Mixed. So when you are mezclando líquidos, then it's blend. So mix is for solids and liquids, and blend is for liquids only. Okay, good. Possibility. Possibility. Probability. Probability. Reach. Reach. Reached. Reached. Result. Resulted. Reversible. Reversible. Salt. Salt. Solution. Solution. Space. Space. Well, that's it for lesson 47. Isn't it amazing that the advanced lessons are shorter than the intermediate lessons? And like I said, as I've been saying, you get to a certain point where you know so much English that it's all downhill from there. Which is not to say that you don't need to still learn a major amount of vocab, but the lessons, the grammar, becomes less important. It becomes easier in the sense that you've already captured the major and difficult lessons. You've already learned those. So now it's just annoying little details that you have to continue to improve your mastery of English. So we'll see you in lesson 48.